Welcome back. You're watching Community Roundup. Celebrating the passion and the perseverance of entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley and around the world, TieCon 2011 promises each and every attendee a place to learn, educate, connect, and inspire. You saw part 1 of this conference in the previous episode of Community Roundup. Here's part 2, covered by TV Asia's Bay Area Bureau. TieCon offers its participants an opportunity to engage in rich dialogue with a dynamic group of entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, industry executives, and thought leaders over 2 full days of networking, inspiring talks, and idea sharing. 50 smartest and brightest early-stage companies of the year are recognized at this conference. In addition to all this, TieCon holds a women's forum where female entrepreneurs and chief executives are invited on the panel. Some of the women on this year's panel shared their success stories and expert views.
I'd started Hewlett-Packard in India. I'd started the first software center of any multinational in Bangalore, set up the first satellite data lake, and I'm sharing these with you because I was feeling on top of the world. And it was like, and nobody at that time in 1986 believed that you could do software in India. People would be like, is there power? Is there a road? Do people speak English? You know, I actually convinced a very wise technologist in Cupertino, I won't name him, good friend of mine, that my father had a 3-elephant garage, and he was convinced about that for 2 weeks. But anyway, so I came back from India. I was feeling really spiffy about myself, and I was given the job of international software to run that for HP. I had 8 software centers worldwide. I was like, oh, if you start a software center in India, I can run a software center anywhere. I had one in India, Germany, Singapore, in France, in Atlanta, and Japan and Brazil, I think. So it was really spread out.
You know, the women's panel, we had a lunch first, and then we did a networking. And after that, we had a 1-hour session with 6 key women. It was moderated by Suzanne Saunders Shaw, who is the executive director of NBC News. So, and the panelists that we selected were all of different variety. We had 2 VC fund managers. We had one Astia VP who is who's like, they are more of an incubator of women entrepreneurs. Then we had a technologist, Raji Basu from eBay, and then we had Radha Basu, who is a technologist come engineer come social entrepreneur now, and she's also a professor at Santa Clara University. So we just try to get a lot of variety because the audience are in different stages of life for entrepreneurship. Some are, you know, late stage, early stage, and I think the feedback that we got was that the whole panel discussion was very relevant to them.
There's been about $1 trillion invested. I use Silicon Valley as a global term to represent all entrepreneurs all across this country. But about $1 trillion has been invested over the last 10 years. We know that as a fact. We know that there have been great companies that have been created. LinkedIn is one that's obvious, you know, coming out at a $3 billion valuation. Zipcar went public just a few weeks ago. But there are 100 or 200 companies standing at that starting gate, ready to go for several years now, that have huge value, and it's totally invisible in the S&P or the Dow Jones Industrial Average until a company goes public.